Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue on our journey of learning just one Chinese expression a day. All right, so yesterday we talked about a very good Chinese translation of the English movie Speed. Somebody translated into life, death, time, speed. I mean, how fascinating it sounds, all right? So today we're going to continue with the concept of 生. Here we have 生生不息 and 生 repeated twice. When Chinese are repeating the same character twice next to each other, most often it got some sort of meaning. It's intended. It's not just because we are out of character, so we have to use it twice. Not like that, okay? So 生生不息 have to be something about a life when we say it twice next to each other. Actually, it does, right? It means life, this life, next life. It doesn't mean rebirth of the same person. It actually means the next generation. So it's generational iteration. Life, 不息, 不 is the negation. So last time we talked about, a few episodes before we talked about 人生无常. 无 is a negation of noun, and 不 is a negation of a verb. 不息. Okay, 息 is the main concept for today. We have this visual, which corresponds pretty nicely to the contemporary Chinese. So the top portion is basically your nose, the two nostrils. Chinese, when we depict eyes or nose, when we have two, right? And instead of writing it this way, vertically, have two vertical lines to indicate the location of two eyes or the two nostrils, right? Side by side, horizontal. Vertically have two lines. Vertical is harder to draw in Chinese writing. That's my understanding and interpretation. So we draw a horizontal line. This is much easier writing than this way, right? Imagine back then is a lot of times using this 毛笔. It's fur, type of animal fur, and soaked in ink and to write down. So this is harder motion than this. Try it yourself, you can tell. And so that's why the nostrils are stacked vertically. It doesn't really look like the visual nostril positioning, but the two indicators are enough to mean, okay, so this is actually the mouth, and then the nose bridge and the two nostrils means the nose. So a lot of times, because nose is the center of the face, ancient people use this concept of nose to indicate yourself. But in this case, it actually means nostrils, oversized zoom in nostril image right there. And here is a heart symbol. It looks almost like a lobster with two arms like that. But I interpret it as ancient people's visualization of heart, that three tubes coming out of it. I don't know exactly what the heart structure is, if there are indeed three main tubes coming out of heart, but this is the ancient depiction of the heart symbol. So back then, the anatomy or how human biology works, so the knowledge is limited. So it was believed that the breathing, instead of you have your lungs breathe in and out, actually heart is connected to the nose, and that's how you get the oxygen. Back then probably no concept of oxygen either, but that's how you get the air and recycle and breathe. So breathing, nostril to heart, that was the depiction. So the character was created actually to mean the breathing, the whole system of breathing. So the two main organs of breathing are depicted there, the nostril and the heart. Wrongly placed, right? But that's back then. And this eventually means take a breath, take a break. Okay, so 息 eventually means take a break from something you're doing. So 生生不息 is a negation, like a no rest. There's no break in the middle of it. That means continuous linking of generation to generation. There's no breaking point. I mean, if there is a break in between, there couldn't be. That's the end of that genetic line, right? Lineage. That's the end of it. So it has to be, if for me, I was sometimes thinking, like me, it comes a long string of bloodlines passing down to me somehow miraculously out of all the selections, all the wars and all the wuchang happened in the past generations, and I actually made it out here. So that's the 生生不息, generational pass down without a break. And I translate it as life recycles. I don't know if it's the best rendering of this concept into English, but it's this life regenerate itself. Not a replica of yourself, another iteration of yourself. No, it's a new generation. So generation after generation, and life recycles that way through generational shifting. Okay, I have no problem with that. I don't want to be here reoccurring myself on the planet Earth again and again. That would be so boring. Somebody else with better education or better resources, better understanding how the world operates to do a better job, to create a better environment, or not create, but probably change the environment and do something to adapt to the changes of life. So that's the kind of recycle. And I use this this sculpture by some Chinese artist to, actually this piece was titled 生生不息. That's how I got it. So it means the linking. It's kind of infinity sign twisted, three-dimensionally twisted infinity. So things like wherever you start, I guess that the concept is wherever you start on this object, this 3D object, you are going to continue somewhere, I mean, find your way and coming back to the origin or something, like everything is linked. And it got this irregular shapes, probably to mean 人生无常, like it's not a perfect line, it's not linear. Sometimes you got to jump and all over down, something like that. Almost like a roller coaster, right? Mini roller coaster spatial structure. So 生生不息. All right, cashing into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another.